Eric Arthur Blair, known as George Orwell, was born in 1903 in India to British parents. His father, a British civil servant, worked in the lucrative opium trade. Orwell's mother, from a French-English background, raised him in England, as his father continued to work in India, growing up with a sense of privilege but limited wealth. Orwell showed early literary talent and attended elite schools like Eton, where he struggled academically. After a brief stint in the Indian Imperial Police in Burma, Orwell returned to England, disillusioned by British imperialism and determined to pursue writing. He spent the next years in poverty, experiencing life among the poor in both London and Paris to gather material for his work. His first book, Down and Out in Paris and London 1933, published under the pseudonym George Orwell, marked his entry into the literary world. Despite initial success, he faced ongoing challenges in establishing a stable literary career. Although admired by his peers for intelligence and wit, George Orwell initially struggled with outdated and uninspired writing. By age 30, unhappy and underpaid, he reluctantly took a teaching job, enduring setbacks in love and career. He wrote Burmese Days based on his Burma experiences, which faced censorship in the UK but was later published in the arts. His novel A Clergyman's Daughter incorporated autobiographical elements, but he grew to dislike it. Working at a bookshop introduced him to socialist politics, inspiring Keep the Aspidistra Flying. Through his writing and associations, Orwell gradually shifted towards socialism. In 1936, Orwell visited northern England to document working-class life, which informed the road to Wigan Pier. Soon after, he joined the Spanish Civil War to fight fascism, only to be disillusioned by communist infighting, which cemented his anti-Stalinist stance and shaped homage to Catalonia. During World War II, Orwell joined the Home Guard, wrote extensively about British socialism in The Lion and the Unicorn, and later worked for the BBC, promoting morale and British values to India. Throughout his career, Orwell's political engagement and social criticism evolved, often blending personal experience with broader critiques of imperialism, capitalism, and authoritarianism. George Orwell was undeniably a significant and influential figure in both literature and political thought. His works, particularly Animal Farm and 1984, have left a profound impact on discussions of totalitarianism, propaganda, and freedom, shaping perceptions of authoritarianism and the dangers of absolute power. Orwell's writing style, though sometimes plain and unembellished, was driven by a mission to communicate complex, politically charged ideas in a clear, unfiltered way. This directness helped his works reach a wide audience, resonating with readers across political divides and bringing nuanced criticism of both right and left-wing authoritarianism into public discourse. Despite his own commitment to socialism, Orwell's critiques were aimed at forms of socialism he saw as hypocritical or corrupt, particularly Stalinism. His experiences with political censorship at the BBC and witnessing Soviet-influenced oppression during the Spanish Civil War amplified his suspicion of totalitarian tactics and inspired him to champion a vision of socialism rooted in individual freedom, transparency, and ethical governance. Orwell's political satires did sometimes bring unintended challenges to the left-wing causes he championed, as critics often interpreted his works as broad critiques of socialism rather than focused critiques of authoritarianism. This misinterpretation has been debated by scholars and political analysts, yet it attests to Orwell's ability to provoke thought and discussion. Overall, Orwell's legacy is that of a writer whose straightforward style and political courage made him an enduring figure. He captured essential truths about the human propensity for power and control, making his works timeless as warnings against the loss of personal freedom and the manipulation of truth. While some may find his writing style simple, this simplicity underscores his intent to reach as wide an audience as possible. His ideas continue to be relevant, proving him to be a visionary writer who transcended the literary to deeply influence social and political thinking.